201.
With the power of Tandem HR, you are in the fast lane on Main Street with Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs. Now, the champion of networking, the advocate of jobs, the guru of business, your host, Shalom Klein.
A wise man once said, success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. We are all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship and business. We talk a lot about business here. You're on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you are there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content and information you won't want to miss. It's a live show. This week, it's all about choices. Get Down to Business is powered by Tandem HR, your solution center. You can find them at tandemhr.com or call 630-928-0510. You'll want to check out their valuable resources and information online, tandemhr.com, or call 630-928-0510. And this week, we will be joined by guests Bruce Leon, Josina Merida, and Jonathan Lair, along with a new Playmakers Spotlight. And I'll be sharing tips on choosing a career at the end of the show. It's a live show. You can call us at 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. So many of our listeners, like myself, have been following the recent Supreme Court decisions. We talked about it a little bit last week, and one of the most important decisions was about the Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare. And there's nobody that knows the impacts of that decision better than our very good friends on Get Down to Business, Bruce Leon, the president of Tandem HR. Bruce, welcome back to the program. Bruce, are you with us?
I'm in the regular line.
There we go. Bruce, welcome back. Thanks for joining us on Get Down to Business to talk about the Affordable Care Act. What do you think about the recent Supreme Court decision?
Hey, Shalom.
Yes, Bruce, can you hear us?
I can hear you good now.
Bruce, we're trying to talk about the Affordable Care Act and the Supreme Court decision. What are your thoughts on the impact of that decision?
Well, Shalom, listen, it was going to be a big decision either way, and I'm sort of glad that it would have caused a lot of upheaval if it had gone the other way. But I still think there's a lot of issues out there that we're going to have to deal with in the future, and to leave it up to the next generation, the 2016 election, and see what they're going to do once those new legislators get in office.
Well, it's not going to be easy to, as Republicans are fond of saying, repeal and replace. Who knows what the next election will hold? But in terms of the implementation, which I know the professionals at Tandem HR have been intimately involved in understanding the details. Now I'm assuming, Bruce, it's full steam ahead with employers preparing for every detail of Obamacare rollout in their companies?
Yeah, we've been preparing it for about a year and a half now, and there's so much paperwork that's going to be now involved with companies over 100. We have to do a whole filing with their tax forms. There's a lot of things that are going to have to go on people's paychecks now. There's just a lot of reporting issues that are going to really overwhelm a lot of small, mid-sized businesses. And on top of that, now we're really interested in what's going to happen with some of these taxes that are going to be on Cadillac plans. What are the issues going to be around some of the subsidies and so on? So there's still a lot of confusion out there, and we at least try to be a resource as best we can to help employers and employees through the muddle. So
we're talking with Bruce Leon of Tandem HR about the recent Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act. Bruce, I want to get your take on the positives and the negatives for both employers and employees, because I know you're involved in really becoming many companies' outsourced HR department. So let's try to stay positive for a moment. Are there any positive things that you can point out to our listeners that will be beneficial to employers as well as to employees in today's job market?
So you're not going to hear me talk about things in terms of whether they're positive or negative. It is the law of the land now. So like any other laws, whether you like it or not, it's what we have to deal with. So taking away all the superlatives, let's just talk about the details. So right now, employers that are over 100 and now soon to be over 50 are going to have to offer insurance that's affordable to their employees. For many employers that are in certain industries like hospitality and retail, that's going to be somewhat of a challenge. The issue right now is also tracking hours and stuff like that. So, bottom line is it's here. We have to deal with it. And the best thing that we can advise employers is try to find a creative solution to at least make sure that you can get the best plans for your employees at the best prices available. I mean, that's really going to be the challenge.
So, Bruce, one question that many of my colleagues ask me all the time is, does Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, whatever you'd like to call it, look the same state by state? Or are there details that are different in states like Illinois versus a state like Texas?
I mean, the big picture answer to that is it's fairly similar. Certain states have their own exchanges. Certain states have already got built-in networks that are literally you can join state plans. You can join large networks in certain states that have really built up for places like Utah, Minnesota, Maine. But in general, the big picture stuff is pretty much the same. You've got to provide benefits. There's a certain core benefits package you have to provide. It has to pass the affordability test of 99% of income. All these kind of things. These are just general things. These are federal things. They're part of your tax returns when you do your taxes. When companies file their taxes, they're going to have a lot of reporting to do. When employees file their taxes, they're going to have to do a lot of reporting. So, bottom line is, I would say the differences are somewhat negligible, depending on some states have exchanges, some states don't have exchanges. But at the end of the day, it's not going to look that much different.
That's helpful. So the professionals at Tandem HR, how can your company, Tandem HR, support small businesses that are still learning a lot of the details about the Affordable Care Act? How can a company like Tandem HR partner with small businesses?
So, Shalom, here's really the fireworks, if we can say now that we're in the great 4th of July period, and we're really we're thinking about the great things that this country offers us with entrepreneurship and business, and we want to really just focus on how we can grow people's businesses. The bottom line is that Tandem helps small, mid-sized employers, up to 200 employees especially, get very affordable health care because we're buying now for a pool of 12,000 employees, and a little bit of a competitive edge that we have because we're determined to be a large group. We actually can offer prices that are not part of what's called the community-rated pool. So if you want to know for simple terms, if your kids went to school tomorrow and the teacher said everybody this year just gets a C, no matter if whatever your test scores are going to be, ever gets a C, the people like myself that might have been a D student were pretty happy. The people that are A's and B's are not so happy. So with Tandem, companies that are a little bit more on the healthy side actually can do better than just being stuck in the community-rated pools than some of the companies that are stuck in those pools. So for those companies that want to at least see what those rates look like in a larger pool, you should come and see it. For the A and B students, it's going to be a nice savings. So that's one of those ways that we're trying to offer a little competitive edge, given the some of the things that are happening in the small business market.
Fantastic. Great resources at Tandem HR. The real experts, the real resources on everything about ACA, the Affordable Care Act, and Obamacare. So, Bruce, if a small business listener wants to contact the team at Tandem HR and wants to talk about resources and perhaps have questions that they still don't have answered, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, hopefully they'll hear a few commercials today. By the way, Shalom, thank you very much for all you do for the show. It's been fantastic, and I always love listening myself. But tandemhr.com is always a good one. My direct line is 630-371-6201. We're always happy to answer questions, just even to give advice. Anybody who's a listener of this show that calls us up, they'll just get some nice advice. They'll get some help filing taxes. They'll get some help that even their accountants can use. They'll be able to latch onto a webinar. So we're here to give advice to make sure people can take care of this so they can run their businesses, be profitable, grow, and have a great and successful 2015.
Advice, Tandem HR has a lot of it, and I encourage our listeners to get a hold of tandemhr.com. Even check out the website. So many great resources and bits of information available. Get a hold of them, talk to our friend Bruce Leon, and thank the folks at Tandem HR for the support of Get Down to Business. It has been a great ride, and we're so excited to continue the partnership. And to all of our listeners, concluding the July 4th fantastic holiday, stay safe. Happy birthday, happy Independence Day to America. We're so fortunate to live in such a great country, and together we'll continue to celebrate many good things together. You're listening to Get Down to Business, the show that's all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Coming up, we're going to check in with executive business coach and award-winning Vistage Chair, Dick Smith. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Get Down to Business.
How can you get from